Hi everybody. This is a bit of a different video because I focus on doing stuff I enjoy and like my hobbies. I'm gonna take a change to do something else I enjoy, which is just politics and learning about the world. Um, and so I'm gonna make this focus and change for my YouTube channel in general. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm taking a more of a, I guess, neutral, conservative look at the world, since it's more my political affiliation. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Just a little PSA, I guess. And that's it. So let's start talking about the new Democrat presidential candidate. I think it's RFK Jr. I think he's a pretty good candidate, especially for Democrats. It's kind of surprising coming from a right-leaning person. I think he has good goals for his presidency, which is rebuilding the middle class. It's been destroyed, and it's obvious, as a lot of people have said. It's hard to get your hands on $1,000 immediately. It's hard. Inflation, taxes, increasing cost of living, all of that contributing to less and less money for an emergency fund, and that's just making it harder and harder to become a middle class person. So it's just kind of creating this difference where it's rich, poor, and it's just going like this. And I think rebuilding the middle class just kind of adds, like, you got rich, middle, poor, but it doesn't decrease the disparity, but it does allow more movement into different classes to where you're more comfortable. Another thing I don't necessarily know very much about, but the destruction of the CIA, or I think that's what he was talking about. I guess it can be understandable with how many anti-government, actually not anti-government, but it's just country-related plots, different countries, our country, they've been involved in, and how they have not, I used to say, propagated war, such as with, I'm trying to think of specifics. Recently there was a news article about the feds. I'm not sure if it's called CIA, FBI. I assume CIA, since that's something they're closer to, but trying to plan it would be considered terrorist, or just the destruction of a marine facility. I don't know the legitimacy of this, but I find that very interesting, so I can kind of see from his standpoint, especially as JFK's grandson, why he'd want to do this. But I think it's really important that we just defund, like, the CIA, FBI, as it's actually been shown that they hire a lot of pedophiles, a lot. And it's just insane. I'm kind of doing this off the top of my head, so I encourage you to go do your own research, formulate your own opinions, which I think is very important to do, especially with topics like these. Yeah, but I think that's somewhat important. Not as important as the rebuilding of the middle class, because it's not as important, to be honest. Just overall. And I think one of his last points was removing military bases over the world. Basically, stop policing the world. And I see some negatives, So, like, with Biden and the Afghanistan, just like the Middle East pullout, as you would call it was executed poorly, left so much to the enemy forces, and they basically recreated the state on how they wanted to do this with no pushback. And they actually gained a lot of tools, weapons, but it's like a problem could be a similar situation where we leave behind stuff, we leave bases, they become occupied by hostile forces or forces that are against us, maybe not hostile, but still against the United States. I feel like another problem is that it removes our ability to project power quickly and effectively. While sure, there will still be a majority of our bases in strong allied areas, I feel like still create some problems. But I also support it since it would shrink our military spending. I think cutbacks, maybe improve soldiers' pay or improve just the military in general. But it could also be used on its previous points, which is rebuilding the middle class. It could also go towards debt. It could go towards a number of things. And with that in mind, another important thing is the debt ceiling and us having almost reached it. Big topic. I'm actually going to do a little more research and do a separate video on this, but to summarize it up, you got a couple options, which is print a $1 trillion coin. I don't have one on me. So you could print a $1 trillion coin and pay off our debts. That's one option. Another option is to just default. Problem with that is it basically cripples us because we can no longer ever pay out loans because no one trusts us anymore. Another problem is that we one second. Is that we is that so this is related to this, but there's a movement to go to the Chinese currency. It's called BRICS. Basically, you got Russia, China, African countries. I believe the UAE is now is participating, but not fully using Chinese currency only. Brazil, other South American countries, I believe, as well. And basically, this is a USA currency consolidation movement, and it's mostly failed because they have not been able to receive support from massive players in the economic field besides Russia and China. But like Mexico would have changed everything. They've supported the U.S. currency, so it's kind of starting to sputter out. But if we default, we're hurting ourselves. We're sending ourselves into a recession. It's going to be hard to recover. Inflation will go up even farther than it has under Biden. It's going to go even farther with cost of living. And it's kind of like the Great Depression, to be honest. I have a feeling. Maybe not as... no, I think maybe it's going to be better. Maybe it's going to be worse. I don't know. I think it's going to be something similar, though. to our depressions that we had in the United States. And it also leverages BRICS' support, commitments. It just gives them more leverage to deconsolidate our U.S. currency as being number one. And another option is raising the debt ceiling. Now this actually, you might say, oh, that's only 3. Well, it actually splits up into 2 options. So one is that we just raise the debt ceiling, which is what Democrats want to do, but they want to place, or from what I've heard, they want to impose a debt ceiling raise with no restrictions, so no budget cuts, nothing. And from Republicans, they want to do the same thing. Some of them want to do the same thing. So they want to have budget cuts. They want to try to start paying off the debt. And I guess there's a 5th option, which is, or is this the 6th? 5th is ignoring it. Bad idea. Kind of just sets the stage for a default or something similar. And I believe 6th is where they can force a vote, where they get all of the Democrats to vote and 5 Republicans, and it forces a vote on doing something, which will lead to one of the other options or a new option. I think what's going to happen is that it's either going to come down to raising the debt ceiling or raising the debt ceiling with cutbacks. But in the end, I don't think it's going to change much. I think we're just going to keep going further and further in debt. And eventually just past the point with no return. I just have a feeling. I mean, we've gone from having $804 billion in debt to anywhere from like estimates from 12 to 30 trillion dollars. So, or at least from what I've seen, it's either 12 trillion or 30. So we've surpassed our GDP in debt alone. But the only good side of that being that it's mostly owed to our own people. And so, why is that good? Well, me personally, I would prefer our debt being owed back to me and my fellow Americans, and not China, India. Well, India is an ally. Owing debt to another country, I believe, is far worse because they are enemies economically. No matter the country, no matter the ally, we're all rivals. So really giving them debt, especially when China and Japan can call in around $2.1 trillion of debt combined, it's just not good for us. And if they do it during, let's say, a recession or anything like that, it's going to hit us even harder. It's just going to get worse overall, and that's why I think owning debt to ourselves is better, because to our people, because it prevents us from being constrained to a single country entirely. I mean, we do owe debt to multiple countries. I mean, many countries owe debt to us. Like, China owes us around $1 trillion debt. Japan, $1 trillion. Luxembourg, 800. I think it's either 6 or 800 billion. And Netherlands, it's 6 or 800 billion. I don't remember. I could have one of them two switched up. But yeah, so that's really what I think is a bad thing. And then another topic would be, I guess, for a later video, I think I'll be going on a deep dive for BRICS and I think the U.S. military. I enjoy the U.S. military. I think I'm going to do a deep dive on probably the Army first and go through other branches and strengths, weaknesses, yada yada yada, and do a comparison with other countries.